Perfect. Okay, so welcome to our ski trip information session. I know in our advertisement for this, it said for Panorama, but we'll be talking about all things skiing and outdoors club today. So first of all, how do you turn? Oh, okay, here we go. My name's Chloe. I'm the co-president of Outdoors Club, and a fun fact about me, I actually used to live in Invermere for a semester. I have my Panorama sweater on right now, and that is me at the top of the Taten Bowl, which is in Panorama. So yeah, that's me.
My name is Luke. I'm the content creator for the club. I both ski and snowboard. That's a little fun fact about me. This picture is actually, I don't know if anyone was about to go, but this was at Tremblant, and I ended up just going like by myself instead of the ski trip that got canceled last year. So that's that. And I will also be potentially, if we get enough interest, one of the leaders for the Panorama trip.
Sweet. Hey, I'm Thiago. I'm the public relations coordinator for the club. And you'll probably find me mostly inside the trees and especially on powdery days, the best. Okay, we can jump to the next one, I guess. Okay, so just before we talk about Panorama, let's just get a brief overview on how our Blue Mountain trips will look like on this winter. So here we have the itinerary for January 21st, which will be the first trip we'll be running. So that trip, we still have around 10 spots left for that. Usually those trips will take 50 spots total in the bus. And basically what we'll try to do is run as many as possible. So as soon as we have the first one filling up, we're gonna open the next one. So like for people who already know they will be going like skiing as much as possible, I'd say like just sign up as soon as you can, so we can open up more trips. So basically the idea is leave the student center by 8 a.m. We get to Blue between 10:30 and 11, then we start skiing. So rentals for those who need will be taken in the mountain. So basically as soon as we arrive in the mountain, we'll be handing over lift tickets for everyone. And those who need rentals, they will get a rental voucher. So like those who have their equipment, they will just go straight to the mountain. Those who need rental, they take that voucher and get their equipment from the resort. And then that's an 8-hour ticket. So by 7 p.m. we should be back to the bus. So again, like just people who need to return rentals, make sure they can do that within the time frame. It's returning rentals at Blue. It's fairly simple. Like you just drop the equipment in the return booth. If anyone wants to grab some like food or other stuff in the resort before leaving, just also make sure like to stop a little earlier and then be back in the bus by 7. So we can leave by 7:30 and be back on campus between 10:30 and 11 p.m. It's still plenty of buses to ride back home. But of course, like the detailed logistics about the trip and everything you would need before Blue, we'll be just sending emails before the trip. So basically, the base cost is for the transportation only, which will be a coach bus. That's mostly for like both storage for equipment and also more comfortable ride for like we're leaving early, skiing for the whole day, so like taking some rest in the bus would be good as well, like maybe some sleep. Members of the outdoor club will get a $10 discount on that. And if you can get the next slide, Chloe. And that's just also the breakdown of cost. So if you need lift tickets, $95. If you need rentals, so that includes the ski or snowboards, the boots and helmets, that's 76 at the resort. And then there is a know-how bundle, so that's aimed for beginners. So basically what that includes is lift tickets for the beginner areas. Those are the areas in a green shade in the trail map. And they include rental for beginners as well, and also access to the self-learning system that Blue Mountain has. It's basically like an area inside the beginners area with like posters and signs with like how basic stuff you would need for learning snowboarding. And we also have some of ours giving like personal tips, like just some of us will be there with you in the first hour giving tips and helping with the basics for the beginners. And pretty much that's it. Like, so that's all access. You can access all of that through the link we have on the Instagram page, and basically like you just go for the base registration, just add those others as needed, basically. And if you have like further questions, like in the end of the presentation, you can just like raise your hands and go ahead. So Chloe will talk about Panorama.
Okay, so we are potentially thinking of doing a reading week trip to Panorama. This would be obviously super exciting. It's a beautiful mountain. There's so much to ski. It's quite a large amount of skiable terrain. However, I would like to stress that this is an interest-based trip. So like if we can't generate enough people to make the trip like worth it to do, it won't run. And that is 8 people total, Tiago and Luke, and then 6 participants. More on that later. The general plan is to fly from Toronto to Calgary on February 21st, to rent an SUV and drive to Invermere, which is about a 2.5-hour drive, I believe. Get groceries, ski for 3 or 4 days, depending on how tired your legs feel and weather conditions. It can get very, very cold at Pano. I got frostbite there on my ears and they've never been the same. But the nice thing about Invermere is that there's lots of other stuff to do there. They have the world's longest outdoor skating rink. So the like town of Invermere is situated on a really long lake in a valley between 2 mountains. And there's a bunch of other little towns also along the lake. And there's a big skating path between them, kind of like the canal in Ottawa. And you can skate along the path to the different towns, and it's super cute. You can also cross-country ski there, classic or skate, snowshoeing. There's lots of hiking in the area, interest dependent as well. So that's why we gave the option to ski for 3 or 4 days. Yeah, so you can kind of tailor the trip to what you want more. And then drive back to Calgary and fly back to Toronto on February 26th. So big day, but lots of fun. Okay, so for accommodation in Invermere, we found an Airbnb with room for 8 people. And this is, I put downtown in quotes. It's located in downtown Invermere. However, Invermere is a population of approximately 3,000 people. So it's not like downtown Toronto per se, but there are some cute cafes and like things to do, window shopping, whatever. But the other nice thing is that there is a free shuttle service that runs through Invermere to the hill on the hour or on every 2 hours. And it goes right by where the Airbnb is. And so that's quite nice. You could it's a short walk to the shuttle stop. And also with the Airbnb, this makes it easier for us to cook meals, reduce our grocery cost, and yeah, since we have the cooking capacity, as we can see in this lovely picture of the kitchen. There's also a porch with some outside couches and stuff. Not sure if you're going to be wanting to use those, but if you're feeling brave against the cold, go for it. And a little bit about Panorama the resort. There's the map of the trails, which I actually have up on the wall behind me. I don't think you guys can see me, but yeah. It's gorgeous. There's a lot of like intermediate level skiing, which is really nice for a big mountain. And then the Taton Bowl is lots of fun if you are a little bit more looking for a bit more of a challenge. Yeah, I really, really strongly recommend Panorama. It's so much fun. Okay, so this is a bit more of the technical side of things. Like I said, since we are trying to make this trip as flexible for people as possible in terms of like kind of challenge by choice, that is why the lift ticket is not like included in the set rate of the trip. So the costs we have here for members and non-members includes flights, Airbnb, car rentals and fuel, and any other miscellaneous costs that might come up. What's not included, the major one is lift tickets, food on travel days, so like on the plane, and if you want to buy food at the hill, that's also on your own budget. And transport to and from Pearson, which would be the Go bus or train, whatever you're feeling. And then something else I want to stress is that you are responsible for your own gear. So the reason why we wanted to make this not included in the cost of the trip is because everyone has different amounts of gear that they own or are interested in renting. So if you have your own gear, you're responsible for getting that to Panorama, which might include a cost of an oversized baggage. If you don't own your own gear or you don't want to bring it, you're also obviously free to rent it from the resort. However, that is also going to have a cost associated with it. But we wanted to leave that up to every person's own choice for what's best for themselves. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to pass it over to Luke.
Sorry, before I talk about this slide, I also wanted to mention, because I remember reading at least a couple DMs about it, but if you do have a icon, Panorama is included in the like whatever amount of mountains you can ski at. So I think it's 5 days of skiing. So essentially you're covered for like the maximum amount of days we'd want to ski if you have the icon base pass. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tiago, but I think that's it. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for clarifying that, Luke.
Yeah, no problem. And then just something a little extra that we thought we'd like to throw out for everyone. Because we're doing these ski trips, we thought that we would potentially want to offer like waxing and sharpening that would be like available to anyone. It would be much cheaper than going to like Sports Check or some other place to get it waxed and sharpened. However, it's obviously not going to be like put on a belt sander and put through like the whole process. It's just going to be like the wax, which is done the same like between like professionals and like if you do it at home, it's like the same process. So the waxing is basically as much as you would get from somewhere else. It's just the sharpening part. It would just be like a hand sharpening tool. So it probably wouldn't give you like the most perfect edge, but it's definitely like a good little tune up if you're needed or if you need it. So, and that would probably, we haven't finalized the price yet, but that would probably be only about 15 bucks. So yeah, just wanted to mention that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we skiing on the 18th and 19th? Would that be a date? Just because that date is like a blackout day for the icon pass.
Yeah, I think the dates are after
Okay.
the blackout dates.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we wanted to just throw this out for anyone interested in going on the blue trip that's happening on the 21st. Just like a heads up to bring your equipment back to school after the break. Next slide. So after everything that's been said about Panorama, as Chloe said, it's very dependent on if we get enough people, which is 6, including, or 6 excluding Tiago and I. But I thought we'd like to throw out a couple potential options in case like because it is an expensive trip. We thought we'd throw out a few options that we could do instead of going to Panorama that would make it like significantly cheaper, because we at least for these options here, it'd be more like a road trip style trip. So it would just be like driving. I think the farthest one on here, correct me if I'm wrong, would be Mont Saint Anne. And that's like 12, 13 hours, 10 hours. I don't know. But yeah, it would cut down the price quite significantly, because obviously we don't have to pay for flights. There's nothing set in stone for like, obviously like where we would go or how much it would be, but we thought that we would just offer like another option for people because we still want to really make a trip happen. If we can't go to Panorama, that's fine. But if you are interested, we will definitely be willing to set up another trip to one of these mountains. And of course, if you have any suggestions for other mountains, this was just like a quick scan of like the nearby mountains, but I think that this is probably like the main ones that would be like of interest.
I just checked Google Maps and Mont Saint Anne is a 10-hour drive from here.
10-hour? Okay. Yeah, and I think Killington, it is, so obviously Vermont's across the border. But I know Killington's only about like an 8-hour drive, so it's not bad either. So there's that. And I think that's everything we have. So if anyone has any questions about anything that's been talked about, feel free to unmute and fire away.
We are going to be wanting, if we are interested in going to Panorama, if people are interested in doing that, we're going to be wanting to book our flights as soon as possible. Ideally by the end of this next week, ideally by the end of next week. So if that is something that you are strongly interested in and would be committed to going on if it were happening, please let us know whichever way you feel best, DMing us, telling us right now, emailing us, because the sooner we figure that out, the sooner we can make those plans. And if not, make alternate plans.
I'm committed to going. You got 3.
Nice. Chloe, I just added the link for the interest list for Panorama in the slideshow. If you want to open it, like so if for people who are like seriously interested, if you could submit your names on that Google form, just so we have your contacts and we can like.
Dago, can you put it in the chat?
Sorry?
Can you put it in the Zoom chat?
I'm gonna put in the Zoom chat, and I added a QR code in the presentation as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
I just sent it in the
Oh,
chat.
you got it? Nice. Wait, I just added. I'm not sure if you. Okay, yeah.